Remember when D'Artagnan was at it and was cracked out of his mind? Bro, I got him when he was first added. That's when I'm pretty sure that's whenever I got D'Artagnan. So it was absolutely crazy. My boy D'Artagnan, and then all of a sudden his dark version, his dark variant came out, and everybody was like, "Oh my god, this guy's so much better than normal D'Artagnan! Oh my god, who cares about D'Artagnan? We all care about Darktanion." Remember that? D'Artagnan is still cracked in my opinion. Just overlooked, I think. D'Artagnan is really cool. They're both really cool. I will say D'Artagnan's design is a lot cooler in my opinion. But I still love my boy. Like, come on, he's on my stream. Like, he's literally on my stream overlay. Like, how can I not love D'Artagnan? You think D'Artagnan was the first Epic Fest form that outclassed his Uberfest form? Okay, now I have a problem with what you're saying. You're saying an anti-traitless specialist is outclassing a generalist? Excuse me? Excuse me? They ain't. The only reason why Dartanion is even remotely better than D'Artagnan generally is because of his HP. That's the only meaningful difference. Nice sync cybers. I know it's hard to time cybers whenever they're so far into the game, but he's not a better generalist. Dartanion is not a better generalist. You're just straight up wrong. Have you not watched my Dartanion versus Darktanion video? The only thing that makes Dartanion better as a generalist is his HP. Everything else, damage, even when strengthened, is worse than massive damage on Dartanion. It's straight up worse. I mean, doesn't Dartanion also have better standing range ever so slightly? It's not a big deal, but it is there. I think that's partially something, but with massive damage on Dartanion is not a better generalist, in my opinion. In my opinion, Dartanion is still far better generally than Dartanion. Nobody is changing my mind. I am biased. You like that Dartanion is Rusher with LD? I do like that. Dartanion's not any different. He's still also a Rusher with LD. If anything, he has more speed, but, you know. Whatever. I'm annoyed that this stage it's taking me so long to kill the Stancer guy that everything literally respawned. This is a problem. This is a full-blown problem. I repeat, we need to do something about this. Shit, my cyberpunks are dead. You forgot Dartanion existed? Screw off. You owe me money now that you said that. Because he's literally on my stream. How does one just forget? How does one watch my stream and forget he exists? He's literally on the screen. There really aren't that many rushes with LD though. That is true. You remember just getting Dartanion and then Fanoa the pull right after? Fuck y'all. I hate that Dartanion is so forgettable. I hate it. Because I've never forgotten about him in a day of my life. Better HP, standing range, and double the HP? Yeah. The standing range is slightly better, and you also mentioned better HP twice. You think you mentioned 3 things. You mentioned the same thing twice, plus a barely difference. At least add on the speed in there instead of saying HP twice, you know? Yeah, y'all are really some lucky motherfuckers out there. I gotta say that. Y'all are some lucky mofos. You don't know why you said double HP, you know you said it twice. Yeah, you damn sure did say it twice. You meant to say speed and said HP instead. That's fair. That's fair. But here's the thing, right? With the speed, it's actually kind of a bad thing. Because what you don't want to do is have him rush into the hitbox of something. So the better speed is actually kind of a bad thing. If you think about it. Because, I mean, it's not like he has that much better range. Like, what? Is it even a 50 standing range difference? I don't even think it's a 50 standing range difference. I think it's probably like 30 or something. It's not a big deal. It really isn't when he has 90k HP. Yeah, but he also needs to lose almost half of that in order to be strengthened. Don't forget. With him actually having DPS comparable to Dartanion, he has to have like about half HP. Okay, 60% HP, but range difference is only 15 difference. Yeah, that's not a very notable difference. You hate that Ponos is so slow at adding legend rare true forms? I do hate that. I want Professor Abyss true form. His base DPS is 5k. Yeah, and Dartanion's DPS against traded is like what? What did I say it was? 12k? I don't remember what I said it was, but it's absolutely fucking insane. Like, even when strengthened, Dartanion does not have enough DPS to outdo Dartanion against traded enemies. Dartanion still has better DPS against traded enemies whenever Dartanion is strengthened. A lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people just act like, oh, 10k DPS is fucking insane. No, 12k DPS. Like, Dartanion literally has the same effective DPS as Dazzly, and everybody's like, oh, Dartanion's still better. I don't understand. I do not understand. Between 325 and 340 is hard to say. I mean, I don't think that's a very major range difference. I really don't think so. Do you have any little catch through form? I do. I have little Matcha Legs and I have little Dragon. I do in fact have those two. Also, how much HP does this guy have? Dartanion might have better DPS, but when he dies so easily? What do you mean? What do you... Hello, Alcon. Welcome. Thank you for the follow 20 hours ago, by the way. But what do you mean? In order for Dartanion to even have comparable DPS in general, he has to have about the same amount of HP as Dartanion. He has like the same HP as Dartanion whenever he's actually strengthened. What are you on about? Like, yeah, he'll survive longer, but he is not a better generalist, in my opinion. Would it be so funny if I level 50 Dartanion? I'm pretty sure I level 50 Dartanion on my main, so it would be funny for you maybe, but for me it's probably understandable. But he still outputs damage before being strengthened? Yeah, but, I mean... Everybody acts like he's so much better than Dartanion. He is not that much better than Dartanion, because don't forget, Dartanion still has 2k better DPS against traded. Don't forget, that is still 2k better DPS, and that's his entire lifespan. So you don't have to do anything to get maximum output. So that means he's a better generalist? No, Dartanion has... You're still forgetting that. Dartanion has a good amount better DPS. And he doesn't have to be used in a way that, you know, gets him strengthened. Dark or Hitman? Dark, 100%. It's the uber difference. Hitman's really hard to use, in my opinion. Like, I've tried using Hitman before, and like it's kind of hard to like use him because his standing range is jack shit. He has a huge blind spot, and he also doesn't have much HP. So it's kind of just hard to use him. You're literally only taking into account his strengthened, but he outputs half of Dart's damage for about 40k HP. Then output... Okay. 5k and 6k are very different things. You're summing it down to 5k DPS is half of 12k. That is not the case. That is not the case. And then, here's the thing you're also forgetting. In a stage where those two work well, Dartanion is better because he doesn't have to be strengthened in order to be he doesn't have to be strengthened in order to be at max output. Both are good, use both together. Here's the thing, right? They're both amazing. I'm not saying one's so much worse than the other. I'm saying they're arguable the same. But Dartanion is a specialist, and people are saying he's a better generalist than the one that's meant to be a generalist. And it's fucking terrible. In a stage where you would want to use a unit like that, Dartanion is better than Dartanion. Because he doesn't have to, you know, get strengthened in order to have his good damage. He has good damage the entire time, rather than needing to get hit in order to have that amazing damage. And even when strengthened, Dartanion still has 50 or 20% less damage than Dartanion. Gian is still better than both of them because physics? Yeah, jiggle physics are nice. Also, I don't allow clips in my chat. Just wish Dark had less stats. I don't wish he had less stats. I wish people would stop underestimating the hell out of Dartanion. Don't underestimate him. Like, he does do better than Dartanion. I know for a fact. Why? Because I've used him. I've used him in a majority of the game before. On my main, he was one of the first... He was literally the first fast Uber I got. And I used him the entire time. He was amazing the entire time, destroying any fucking stage. The only difference being against traitless enemies. Then, Dartanion is by far better. But against traded enemies, Dartanion is better. Here's the thing, right? You act like Dartanion has no HP. You act like his survivability is dog shit. You act like this. And yet, he really doesn't have that low of HP. Like, I think people just see the whole, you know, he has half the HP of Dartanion, and they think that that immediately means that he has piss poor HP. He still has 45,000 HP. He still has 45,000 HP with only 100-second recharge time. With this short of a recharge time and this, like, above average HP, I'd say. Or maybe average HP. It's average HP. It is average HP. And by the way, don't round it down to 40k. If you're going to round it to 50k. Fuck off. You can, thanks to his recharge time, he can still, you know, be on the field for a majority of the game. 50k HP is still a huge difference, don't get me wrong. But that's not to underestimate this guy. I feel like the reason why I'm arguing... I know the reason why I'm arguing here is because I know for a fact that people underestimate Dartanion specifically because of Dartanion's busted stats. You're undermining the hell out of Dartanion simply because of Dartanion's existence. So if you guys did enjoy, please do. Come back for more. Peace!